Hey, what's going on, guys? So, first things first, we're going to be removing the stock bumper and the hitch. Um, Man, this was difficult, um, just because I live in the Rust Belt. So you'll see me struggling with some bolts, using penetrating fluid all the time, and I still ended up breaking some of the welded nuts on the inside of the frame. Um, but you'll see all that as it comes about. You'll need a 10 mil, 12 mil, 14 mil, and a 17 mil to get the nuts out, or get all the bolts out from the frame and detach the bumper. So if I remember right, you've got the 6 bolts there at the lip of the lift gate. There's 2 more on the underside right there, and the corners. You'll see me get those. There's 2 little plastic screws right by the brake lights. They don't really hold much. I tried to undo them. It didn't do a whole lot, so a gentle tug pulled them right out. And you see me. I've got the bumper free, and you're going to be trimming that. So there's actually some things that I've still have yet to trim out from underneath the vehicle, just because they're never going to be used again. On the sides where I'm at, you're going to need a long extension and a 10 mil, and you'll undo 2 screw bolt type Toyota famous things. And when you pull on the bumper, there's like snaps. You'll see them after you get done, but just give them a gentle tug a couple times, and they should pop loose for you. But it was definitely, something that I kind of pulled here and pulled there, and saw what was still supporting, and then found the connectors and fasteners, and pulled them out. So here I'm just kind of inspecting and taking a look at the hitch and seeing what goes on next. With the stock bumper removed, you can definitely see a lot better about what's going on and what you need to remove. You're going to need to remove the electrical connector bracket and the connector itself, just to get it out of the way while you're installing the bumper. So that's actually a part on the V8 hitch that attaches to the hitch itself. So I have to figure out a way to reattach it. Right now it's zip tied. I went ahead and did a test tow with it. Not very heavy, but tow's great. I do have to invest in a drop hitch now, but that's another story. So some of those bolts are really torqued in there. You'll see me using penetrating fluid and that big breaker bar. But when the vehicle moves, you're putting some pretty serious force into it. You should not break the big bolts. They are huge. But when you feel something starting to give, definitely make sure you're using penetrating fluid if you are having any issues. Here you're seeing me get into the end caps. My end caps were not going to support that bumper, so I was cutting them out so that I could replace them with new metal. Luckily, I had some angle 1/8 inch metal just sitting around in the garage, but I used a 1.5 by 1.5 inch, and that did a good job of replacing and making it so that it was stable and sturdy again. The other thing that I did with the end caps open is I removed all of the rust, and then later on I proceed to coat the inside with internal frame coating from Eastwood. It's a fantastic product. Can't recommend it enough. And then I also painted the frame, where I had marred it and re-welded everything, just to make sure I'm not doing this again. It's very dark inside the frame, so yeah, having a shop light or a buddy with a flashlight, hopefully not your cell phone light, but any light will do when you're in there. I needed a fairly long standard wrench to get in there, but I had one on hand, so I was able to make it happen. They are square nuts. They are not a hex nut, so you will have to, if I remember right, it was an 18 millimeter, 18 or 19 millimeter, and with the welded base, it made for a very tricky grab. That's why it's taking me so long to get in there and get the wrench on the nut and then be able to put enough force on it that I'm releasing everything. But you can see that I'm making slow progress, and this the rust added quite a bit to this project for me, but it was also a good thing, because now the frame is solid and clean and protected, and I'm taking further steps to make sure that it never happens again. I'm doing some robust mud guards, mud flaps, and hangers, and you'll see me doing that. And I'll have a video on it here shortly, but there you go. Hitch is removed.